Welcome to this Brain Wellness Program yoga class. My name is Vanessa. The props we'll need for today are yoga blocks. If you don't have something, a yoga block, then something quite thick that gives you some height, either some thick books or a short stool or large cans of soup. And you'll also need a yoga strap, something that is not elastic. So if you don't have a strap like this, alternatives would be a bathrobe mat, a dog leash, something that's long but doesn't have any give to it. This is a hatha style yoga class, which means we'll hold several of the poses for 5 to 7 breaths. Always go at your own pace. It's important, especially when you're doing this at home, not to force any pose. Don't go into pain or discomfort. Really listen and tune into your own body, and I'll give lots of options and modifications. So we begin with having hips higher than knees. So you could be in a kneeling position as I am now. I'm sitting on a block. You could also be cross-legged. If you're cross-legged and it's a little tight on your hips, you can bring the blocks to prop under your knees for some support so that the lower body can be relaxed. You could also be sitting on the edge of a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure that you're sitting forward so that your back is not leaning against the chair. And I start all our classes with coming into a moving and opening meditation. So start in the posture that you're comfortable with. Bring your hands under your hips and just feel underneath you with your fingertips pointing towards the center. You'll notice you have 2 bony points underneath you. I'll refer to those as your sitting bones throughout the practice. And if you bring your hands to the front of your hips, you'll notice you have 2 points where the bones can be felt at the front of your hips, and I'll refer to these as your hip points. It's very much an alignment-based yoga practice, again, really bringing you into awareness of your posture and your body. So we'll begin with palms up on thighs, hands relaxed and open. And then gently close your eyes or soften your gaze a couple feet ahead of you on the floor. And tune into the sound of my voice. And tune inward. Take a moment to notice any sensations here. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling. And just acknowledge where you're at. And as you exhale next, really sink those sitting bones down into the surface beneath you. Feel that the weight is even on both sides. And let the legs be heavy. On your next in-breath, lift the belly upward and lengthen the waist in your spine. As you exhale, drop the shoulder blades down your back. As you inhale next, lift the crown of your head to lengthen the back of your neck, gently tucking the chin. And as you exhale, soften your face and jaw. Release any creases or tension in the forehead. And now bring your awareness and your attention to your breath. Just notice where you feel the sensation of breathing the most. And take a nice, slow, full, deep breath in, really expanding the rib cage, opening right to the bottom of the lungs. And a nice, soft, gentle exhale. And we're going to do a moving meditation, coordinating our breathing with the movement of our hands. Bring your hands up beside your ears about an inch away, with the fingertips closed and the fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. Pause here to breathe in. And as you exhale, slowly move the hands forward with your out breath until you feel your palms connect, with the thumbs at the level of your eyebrows, but not touching them. With the palms together, breathe in. And as you exhale, slowly lower the hands down along the line of your spine until the base of your thumbs reach your breastbone. And pause there. Bring your hands beside your ears again. Take a slow, deep breath in, creating some space between your thoughts. As you exhale, move your hands. They follow that out breath, gathering all of the thoughts, the busyness of the mind forward. Gathering that between the palms. Pause to breathe in. And as you take a nice slow exhalation, draw the hands downward, drawing that inner focus also down with the hands to the center of your chest. And one final time, bringing your hands beside your ears. Take a nice full deep breath in. Exhaling, sweep the hands forward, bringing the focus to the front of the forehead where the palms connect. Inhaling here again. And as you exhale, imagine that you're connecting the mind and your thoughts and bringing them down to connect with your heart and that inner sense of self. Take another breath in, feeling the rise of your chest against your hands, and a soft exhalation. And I'll have you join me with sound for a soft to open the class. This also helps to focus our mind into the present moment and really become aware of the sound and the feeling that that sound makes as it vibrates through your chest. Inhale. Exhaling, tuck your chin and lengthen the back of your neck. Inhaling, lift your head, release your hands, and gently open the eyes. Bring your palms up out to the side. Reach your hands up overhead and interlace your fingers, turning the palms upward, or as high as your arms will go. If you have any shoulder limitations, just go to where it feels right for you. Then let the chin come forward so that your head is relaxed. Root those sitting bones down and lift up through the spine, lengthening here, opening the palms, keeping the elbows straight. One more breath. And as you exhale, slowly release, lowering the hands down to the sides And as your fingertips touch the mat, lifting the chin. Keep those sitting bones again rooted. Lift the belly up. And then turn to look over your shoulder. Inhale back to center. And then turning to look over the opposite shoulder. Coming forward again, we'll come off the mat into a pose called Dandasana, which is with the legs out straight. If this is a challenging pose for your back, the other prop I forgot to mention is having blankets. These are really helpful, having a few folded blankets to give you height and extra support when you need it. So you could also sit on a blanket. That sometimes makes it easier for the lower back. And lift your toes towards your head and then press the backs of your legs downward into the mat. About 9 times, contracting these thigh muscles here. Waking up the legs, releasing the knees. And then bring the soles of the feet together into a pose called Baddha Konasana, wherever again this feels right for you. You can bring your hands around your ankles. You could also have your hands behind you, supporting you this way if you need. The key here is to keep the spine straight, making sure that tailbone and that sacrum, the bone that's at the bottom of your spine, is perpendicular to the floor. And then press the outer edges of your feet together. Notice how you do that, and it just opens up in the inner thighs a little more. Aim to reach the toes down towards the mat. Keep the shoulder blades down. One more breath here. Bring your hands outside your knees, draw the knees together, and we're going to come onto our backs now on the mat. You'll need to have your strap, and you'll need to have the blocks handy. So lying fully downwards, extending both legs, heels together. Bend your right leg up, bringing the strap around the bottom of your foot closer to your heel. Have the tails of the strap, wrap them around your wrist and hold between your thumb and second finger. If you have any low back issues, you can bend the opposite leg or put a prop underneath your knee. Otherwise, really extend that leg down. Reach the right heel up. Keep the knee straight. The shoulder stays in contact with the mat and the elbow is extended. Feel the opening in the middle of your right thigh at the back. Press that heel upward. Press the left leg downward. Keep the front of the thigh contracted. That helps to release the muscle at the back of the hip. And we'll hold it here for a few more breaths. Again, don't force this one. Just feel the opening in the back of the thigh. Your neck should be relaxed. Keep the chin tucked in. And on your next exhalation, see if you can bring the toes a little closer towards your head, just deepening the sensation of opening in the back of your right thigh. And then bend your knee to release the strap. Bring the heels together. Pause and notice the difference between the right and left leg. And now we'll bend the left leg up, bringing the strap around the bottom of the heel. Holding the strap in the left hand around the wrist between the thumb and second finger. Elbows straight again. Toes pulling up towards your head on both sides. Anchoring down with the right leg and lifting that left heel upward. Again, bring your focus and attention to the back of your thigh. This is where you want to feel the opening. It gets really tight from all the sitting we do. Keep contracting the muscle at the front. Press your knee towards the foot of the mat. A few more breaths here. And as you exhale, bring the toes a little closer to the head. Modifications for this one would be to use the door frame and have your heel just resting on the door frame instead of in a strap. If your leg is lower down, you may feel more comfortable holding both ends of the strap. Make sure that your elbows are straight and your neck is relaxed. Last breath here. Bend your knee to release the strap. Bring both heels together and pause. And bend the right leg up again, bringing the strap around the heel so that the tails of the strap are in the inside of your leg and you're holding it in the opposite hand now. Bring the right hand between the thumb and index finger and press your hand into your hip crease, moving that thigh bone towards the foot of the mat. This creates a little space in the hip joint. And as you exhale, gently bring the foot just across midline until your right foot is in line with your left shoulder. Notice that you feel the opening a little more on the outside of the thigh and the hip as well as the back. Keep pressing away into that hip crease. Make sure your knee is straight. Last breath here. Bring your leg back to center. Bend your knee to release the strap. And we'll switch sides. Make a loop, bringing the loop around the heel so the tails are in the inside of your leg, holding the strap in the opposite hand. Bring the left hand between your thumb and second finger, pressing it into the hip crease, moving the thigh towards the foot of the mat, keeping the knee extended. Gently bring the leg across midline so your left foot is in line with your right shoulder. Take a nice, slow, easy breath in here. And a gentle exhale. Again, bringing your focus and attention to where you feel the opening and the stretch. Bring the leg back to middle. Bend your knee to release the strap. Bring both heels together. And now this one will be moving the leg out to the side. So we bring the strap around the heel again with the tails on the outside of the leg and holding the strap in the same hand. With the opposite hand, with your left hand, put it on that left hip point. So the key safety thing about this pose is that we don't want the hips becoming a teeter-totter. So this left hand helps to anchor this left leg downward and straight. So everyone's going to be at a different point that feels right for them. Reach the heel upward. Keep pressing on that left hip point. And as you exhale, slowly lower the right leg out to the side to whatever point is right for you. Keep the elbow extended, reach along the strap if you need. Keep the foot parallel to the floor. And now feel the opening right from the inner arch of that right foot up the inside of the leg to this left hip point. This is quite a big opening in the inner thigh. Take one more easy breath. Then gently sweep the leg back up to center. Bend your knee to release the strap. Bring both heels together. And we'll switch sides. Bending the left knee up, bringing the strap around the left heel, holding the strap in the left hand, putting the right hand on top of that right hip point, anchoring that leg down. As you exhale, slowly open the leg out to the side. just to the point where you're getting to that teeter-totter but not going past it. Press out through the heel. And again, bring your focus and attention to the opening between the arch of that foot right up through the inside of your leg to that right hip point. A couple of breaths here. If this is really challenging for you and you're just easing into this practice, you can also prop your leg with the block, but keep pressing out through the heel. So keep the leg as active as you can. Inhaling, sweep the leg back up to center. Bend your knee to release the strap. Pause with the heels together. And you can move the strap off to the side. Now we're going to move into the hip rotation movements. If you have any knee discomfort, you'll want to use the block for this, so have that nearby. Just going to bring it so that I can reach it. Bend both knees so your feet are flat on the mat. Step your right foot off to the side and let that knee drop in towards the middle. Turn the outside edge of that right foot up towards the knee. Now, if you have any knee discomfort with this, this is where you will take the block and prop it between the thigh and the shin bone to give that knee support. If you need 2 blocks or you want to put that block on an angle, do whatever you need so that knee has support and you don't have pain. Some of you may not need the blocks. The actions when you're in this pose here are to draw the knee towards the foot of the mat and lift the belly up on this same side. One more breath. Then slide the foot along the mat, bringing both feet flat on the mat, knees bent. And now step the left foot off, letting the left knee drop down towards the center of the mat. Turn that left foot up towards the knee. This is important to protect that knee joint. Any knee discomfort, use the blocks and prop them again between the thigh and the shin. Send that knee down towards the short edge of the mat, the foot of the mat, and lift the belly up. Notice if you have any differences right to left. That's normal. The side that's tighter, spend an extra breath or 2. Now slowly coming out of the pose, slide your foot along the floor, bringing it up to meet the other one. And then extend the legs. We'll take the strap for this next one, working on what's known as external rotation. Bring the strap around the right ankle and hold it in your left hand, bringing the right foot up onto the left thigh, as high as is comfortable for you. Let the knee drop down towards the floor. Both hip points should be level. And the focus here is on turning this right thigh out and downwards. You'll notice that you need to engage the muscles at the back of your hip. That's okay. And the straight leg remains where it is, lifting your toes up towards your head. And just letting this opening happen, similar to the pose we started with in sitting called Baddha Konasana. So this is external rotation of the hip. Lift the knee up, remove the strap, bring the heels together, and we'll switch sides. So now bringing the strap around the left ankle, left foot is on right thigh. You can hold the strap at that hip point, just on top of it, and let the left knee roll down and outwards. Keep the hip points even. Contract the muscle at the back of your hip to roll that thigh outwards. One more breath. and then gently release. We're going to come up into sitting now. So bend both knees, roll onto your side, and we'll move up. Bring your blocks to the front of your mat. And if you have any knee issues or you want a little extra padding under your knees, you can bring a blanket here or you can double up the mat. So we've done all of the hip motions. We've lifted straight up, we've gone out to the side, we've done the rotations. Now we're going to stretch the front of the hip flexors and the quadriceps. So coming onto hands and knees, step your left foot forward. So your right knee is back, and you can use the blocks here at whatever height feels comfortable for you. The key thing here is you're anchoring down with that front left foot. The right knee is back. Connect with all 5 toes and the back foot. And then lean forward a little bit to open the muscle at the front of the hip here. Make sure the knee stays over the ankle. And bring that hip just slightly inward towards the front foot to deepen that sensation of opening here in the hip flexor. And 2 more nice slow breaths here. Bring your hands back down to the mat, and we'll switch sides. So bringing the right foot forward, left knee back. Again, hands on blocks at whatever height's comfortable for you. Make sure this front knee is over the ankle, that you anchor down through the heel. And you press that back knee as far away from you as you can, connecting all 5 toes with the mat at the back. And then feel the opening again in the front of the hip flexor. Bring the outside of that left hip, turn it a little bit towards the front foot. So just deepening that stretch. And again, holding it here for a couple more breaths. So nice, slow, deep breath in. Gentle exhale. And one more, keep lifting the belly upwards. Bring the blocks back down to the mat, hands to the mat, bring the knees back. And we're going to move into Marjarasana, which is hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Again, you can use the extra padding if you like under the knees. As you're here, keep your gaze down to the mat. The spine is nice and long. Exhaling, press the hands and knees into the mat and scoop the belly up, lifting the spine, letting the head and neck be heavy. As you inhale, the sitting bones reach up, the chest comes forward, and focus on the middle of the back, so between the shoulder blades coming forward, opening the front of the chest. Exhaling, pressing downward, scoop the belly, connecting again the toes into the mat, spreading the shoulder blades wide. As you inhale, the head and chest come forward, lifting the front of the heart. One more exhale to round. And inhaling, come forward. Then come to neutral. And we're going to come up into standing. So gently walk the feet forward with the hips and knees bent. Palms together. Inhaling, sweep up to stand. Turn the palms away from each other, exhaling, hands to sides. Now we'll turn to face the long edge of your mat. We'll stand first in Tadasana, which is mountain pose. In Tadasana, proper standing posture is to have your feet 2 fist widths apart, feet under hips. Connect with the base of your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel. You can lift your toes up off the mat to make an impression of those points a little bit deeper. Bring the thigh bones back just a little bit to weight a bit more onto the heels. Lift the lower belly up, drop the shoulder blades down. Now lift the crown of your head towards the ceiling, gently tucking the chin. This is Tadasana, or your most straight standing posture. From here, we're going to move into some strengthening poses for the legs. So we'll start by stepping the feet 4.5 to 5 feet apart. Bring the fingertips together. As you exhale, bend the knees. And then inhaling, step your feet wide. Bring your hands to your waist. Turn your right leg 90 degrees. So your toes are pointing towards the short edge of the mat. And bring your back foot in about 15 degrees. Now, depending on your balance here, you may have the second toe and heel of the front foot in the middle of the back arch. If that is a little bit tippy for you, bring the back foot forward so you have more space in between. So do what's right for you in terms of your balance. Knee should line up with second toe. Again, I'll give you options here. So we bend that front right knee so that the knee is over the ankle. The hips are opening here, so this may be enough for you. You're really pressing into the outer edge of the back foot, lifting up through the inner thighs, and keeping the sitting bone under you. Watch that that knee is again tracking towards that second toe. And if you want to add on, we bring the arms, palms down out to the sides. Reach the back hand a little bit behind you to align your shoulders over your hips. Drop the shoulder blades down and then turn to look over that front third finger. We're going to hold it for a few breaths here, really working the legs. So anchor through that front foot, through the heel, and into the outer edge of the back foot. Keep lifting up through the belly, dropping the shoulder blades down. If you can try and drop a little lower with the legs to intensify the strengthening in the work there. Last breath. Then straighten the knee, bring your hands to your waist. We're going to move into Parshvakonasana now. You may want to have a block or a chair on the outside of your front leg. Bend that knee again, coming into a 90-degree angle. And here you have options. You can bring your forearm on top of your knee or your hand to a block or a chair behind you, whichever works, or maybe even to the floor. Connect this front knee with the back of the arm. Tuck that hip under you, and this top hip point, the left hip point, reaches towards the ceiling. Again, keep the pressure into that back outer foot. And if you want to add on, reach the hand overhead, fingertips away from that back foot, creating length in the side of the body. And the last piece, you can turn to look upward. Keep anchoring, pressing firmly down through the foot, front foot, the back, the edge of the back foot. One more breath here. Then pressing into the back foot, come up into standing, hands to waist, toes face forward, and we'll switch sides. So turning the left leg 90 degrees, so the toes are towards the short edge of the mat, the back foot in about 15 degrees. And again, align your feet to the way you had them on the other side. So it may be second toe heel bisects the middle of the back foot, or you may have them wider apart. Hands on the waist, facing forward to the long edge of the mat. Bend that front knee so your knee is over your ankle at 90 degrees. Keep that knee tracking over the baby toe. Don't let it roll one side or the other. Keep it centered. You can keep the pose here and work it. Option to add the arms, palms down. Reach that back hand a little bit towards the back foot, aligning shoulders over hips. Keep the shoulder blades down. Turn to look over that front third finger. And hold it here for a few breaths, really working the legs, strengthening the hips, strengthening the thighs. Bring your hands down to your waist, straighten that front knee for a moment. Bring whatever prop you need beside you for going into our Parshvottanasana. Bend that front left knee again, bringing the hand to the outside of the foot, either onto a block or a chair, or even above the knee onto your thigh. Press down through the heel. Now tuck that hip under you and bring this hip point up towards the ceiling. Option now to reach overhead, fingertips away from the back foot. Create length through the side of your body and look up towards the ceiling if that's okay for your neck. The knee and the arm connect with each other at the front. One more breath here. Bring your hand back down to your waist. Straighten that front knee to come up into standing. Toes face forward. Then heel toe your feet to walk them in. And stand again in Tadasana for a moment. Becoming aware of your breath, if it's sped up a little bit there. Feeling your legs, connecting your feet with the mat. And our last standing pose is chair pose, also known as fierce pose. We're going to take the block, bring it between the legs, just above the knees. This helps keep your feet in position. It helps engage the muscles around the hip. Don't clench it, just squeeze it and hug that block gently. And if you need for balance, you could have a chair beside you or the wall or even a chair behind you. So we start in Tadasana, hands at the side. And then we bend the hips and knees as if you're going to sit into a chair, raising the arms up. Again, option, you can keep your hands on your waist. Full poses with the hands reaching up, elbows extended, gaze ahead. Again, hugging just gently the block and really connecting in with the thighs here. They do a lot of work. Exhaling, lower the hands and come up into standing. Pause here. We're at a variation with the arms this time, again, optional. So you can repeat the pose as we just did, or follow along with the breath and changing your arms up. Inhale, sit back. Keep pressing into the heels, working the thighs. Exhaling, bring the hands behind you. You could either place them on your hips or interlace them behind your back. And as you inhale next, squeeze the shoulder blades together and open the front of the chest. One more breath here. Release the arms. Inhaling, come up to standing. Exhaling, hands to the side. Our third and final round of this chair pose. Inhaling, reaching up, sit back. Exhaling, bringing hands behind, either hips or interlace. And on your next in-breath, squeeze those shoulder blades together, opening the front of the chest. Release the hands as you inhale, come back to standing. Exhaling, releasing the hands. Beautiful. So now we're going to move onto the mat. We'll come through a deep squat. So if deep squats don't work for you, you can just come down into sitting on the mat. For those of you who that works for, bring the feet a little wider than hip distance. Turn the toes outward. Bring the palms together. As you exhale, bend the hips and knees, bringing elbows inside the knees. Your heels can come off the mat. You could even have some props under your heels if you like. And you could also have the blocks under and be sitting on the blocks if that's what works for you today. Press elbows into knees and knees into elbows. Lift the heart forward. One more breath. Bring your hands down to the mat. And we'll move into our twist. So we'll bring your blanket or a prop, you might have a foam block, under your sitting bones, under your hips. This helps protect the lower back. Legs are extended, so really again, connect those sitting bones with the prop beneath you. Legs are out straight so that the outside edges of your feet are in line with the hips. Bend your right knee in as close as you can. Keep both sitting bones connected. Bring your left hand just behind you onto the mat. Raise the right arm up. Bring that elbow inside the knee. And then bring the arm parallel to the floor. Lift the belly up, straighten the spine. Keep both those sitting bones connected. And as you exhale, turn away from your knee into a nice twist, opening the upper back and shoulders. Keep the knee and the elbow pressing against each other. Keep the straight leg anchoring down. One more breath. Coming out of the pose. Release your leg, straighten it. Now bending the left knee up. Bringing the right hand behind the hip onto the mat behind you. Extend the left arm, bringing the elbow inside the knee and the forearm parallel to the floor. Connect both sitting bones and lift the spine up. Make yourself tall. Keep that belly lifted. And as you exhale, turn to look behind you, pressing elbow and knee against each other and straight leg down into the mat. One more breath, nice and slow. And notice if you have any differences right to left. Inhaling, come back to center and extend both legs. And we're going to move into Shavasana now, which is our final resting pose. If you have lights on overhead, you might want to dim them now. If you know that you like certain props for this final resting pose, you could have them. Some people like a little extra padding under the head or neck. Some people are comfortable just coming flat onto the mat. Either way, do what feels right for you so that you can be fully relaxed and integrate all the benefits of the practice we've had together. Extend your legs and come onto your back. Palms up about 30 degrees away from your body. And really let the back of the body sink downwards. And gently close the eyes. I'm going to set the timer. We'll be in 2 minutes of silence. Really let the muscles relax here. Let the bones be heavy. Let the front of the body spread wide. And bring your inner gaze towards your heart center. Slowly bring your awareness back into your body. Bend one knee and then the other so that the knees fall in towards each other. Gently rock them side to side, a couple inches either direction. And slowly roll onto your right side using your right arm as a pillow. And pause here. Pause here on your right side. Press into the left hand to come up into sitting, keeping the gaze soft with gentleness and ease. Coming into a sitting position with the palms in front of the chest. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in. And a soft, gentle exhale. And join me for one soft to close the class. Inhaling. Exhaling, tuck your chin and bow your head. And take a moment to be thankful for the practice that you gave yourself today. Inhaling, lift your head, release your hands, and gently open the eyes. Thank you for spending your time in this practice with me today. Namaste.